here's the thing. I'm jumping all over the place, but like you're really good at, like, you really know the auto world. You really know cars. You really know how to review them. Was it a big learning process? Like, were you at the beginning?
I wasn't just automatically good.
That's what I'm saying.
Like my background like started with reading about cars, and then quickly turned into driving everything I could. I worked at a couple dealerships. I worked at an exotic car rental company.
I want to talk about that.
The exotic car rental company is where I really learned a lot.
Really?
Yeah, a lot. What breaks, what doesn't break, how customers would treat these cars so badly, and I drove all of them, so I learned, there was a real period of like 4 or 5 years where I drove every supercar that was, available, and it was a great knowledge base, and
because you have like savant knowledge of cars.
But only it's focused. I'm like a fucking moron at like a bunch of other shit. I just remember the things that I care about remembering.
It's kind of,
my brain has figured out how to organize car data.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
And the more time I spend with the car, the more room my brain allocates for that data.
Sure.
So I've driven thousands of cars. Some of them for only like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And in that case, I probably don't remember very much.
Right.
But if I've spent any real time with the car, I probably remember a good bit about it. And I can summon it as needed. And if I have any kind of skill at all, it's that I can drive like 80% of my race pace while calmly having a conversation with nobody about something completely unrelated to what's happening right in front of me.
Wow.
That's like the only actual skill I have.
That's the skill set.
Yeah, everything else is just like repetition.
Wow. So did it go from you uploading the videos and then talking about it to somebody saying,
yes,
we want you to?
Back in the day, yes. Yeah. Literally, I had made like 5 videos, and this dude named Emil, which is like a supervillain fucking name. It's very appropriate because he's in prison now. Shitbag.
Shout out to Emil.
Shout out to Emil Rensing, inmate number 232, fucking 5, Federal Correction System.
Okay.
Suck a dick. That guy basically was like, hey, I have a multi-channel network. That was a thing. Like, now a multi-channel network is like virtual, right? It's like your podcast and my podcast are part of the same sort of multi-channel network of ad sales, right?
Right.
Which I thank you.
Oh yeah,
I owe you fucking many steak dinners when we can do that
please.
again. You helped make me a lot more money last year, and I really appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Fair trade for the McLarens in the driveway.
Definitely.
Okay, cool. But this dude was like, hey, I've got this show about cars called Fast Lane Daily, which was a show that was around for a while. It was like a newsy daily talk show about car news. Host was sick. You seem like you can talk about cars. Come on down.
Wow.
And I read a teleprompter, but I sort of knew what I was talking about. And within a week or two, I had my own show on that guy's network. So, like, that shit doesn't happen anymore. Like, no one's going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No one will pay you a salary to talk about cars on YouTube right now.
You really got to do your own. Because, like, the way that I learned about you is how I learned about, I mean, you probably know all of them, all the car reviewers.
Yeah, I know a bunch of them, yeah.
Because as somebody who likes cars, you go to YouTube and you're like, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, you can look up, a car comes out. I want to know about, what's going on with this car. And it's like, you go down that hole of seeing, and then you guys all, I feel like the notable reviewers have a little different perspective and style.
And you just find the person that you relate to the most. You go, okay, this guy thinks how I think.
Exactly.
And then you can kind of latch on to that person.
Right.
Yeah. But YouTube allows you to really get that
you gotta
absorbed
be like,
in it.
You got to do, like, everybody who does it, like you said, no one's going to be like, hey, come do this to us. But if you do it yourself, I mean, isn't Doug DeMuro a perfect example of like a very specific type of dude who's doing his own thing? It's very much, it feels like this is not a put on, this is who this guy really is.
Oh yeah.
And he's found this, like,
and not only that, he's like more in person than he is on camera. He's more that guy in person.
Really?
Like there's a reason that when I make videos, like, I'm by myself in the middle of the desert. I don't really like people that much. Like, I prefer to make this video alone where I can drive fast and nobody will bother me.
Sure.
If you give Doug a car and you give me the same car and you go, you each have 12 hours with this car to make your video. And let's assume it's an awesome car. Let's assume it's like one of those McLarens,
like
a 720 or something, right? Something sick. I am going to go drive the piss out of this car for 6 hours and 45 minutes and make a video for 15 minutes about what I learned during that time while I was driving very fast.
Sure.
Doug will park this thing in a fucking parking lot and spend 5 hours and 45 minutes pressing buttons on the dashboard, you know, and opening levers and shit. And then maybe 20 minutes driving it at the end.
And dressing like he just got off a cruise from Bermuda.
Exactly. Owning that.
Yeah.
And he gets 10 times the traffic I get.
Yeah.
10 to 20 times the traffic I get.
Wow.
So obviously the world sees that as being something that's more desirable than what I do. But that doesn't mean I want to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He does that's the best part about YouTube is your show is exactly the thing you want to be doing.
Want it to be, yeah.
And if it's not, it probably should be.
Yeah.
You probably change it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
So I like the thing that I get to do
is exactly
the thing that I want to be doing.